Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University, Detective Comics 984. All right, I was literally reading this comic book, thinking to myself that, you know what? This might not even make it to a review because it was like, okay, cool. I don't see the point. There's no real interest for me, but yet I'm doing a review. And I'm really excited to see the next issues, the rest of this arc, more and more. This turned out to be really good. Basically, you just have Cassandra Cain, and I gotta say, man, Miguel Mendoza on pencils, whew, he draws a really good Cassandra Cain. Especially, I hope this doesn't sound perverted, but like especially the boobs. Yeah, I'm just gonna go right out there. Just like as someone who has drawn a lot myself, I don't want to call myself an artist necessarily, but as someone who has drawn a lot, I can say that I've tried obviously to draw the female body a lot, and like the male body doesn't really move too much, the majority of it, but boobs are always typically hard. Standing up, hey man, it is what it is. It is, it's just like you got that. But like laying down or sideways or upside down, like it always looks weird, all right? So let's try not to make this conversation too weird. Just boobs are hard to draw, but here they were drawn very well. Yeah, I want to take lessons. Brian Hill wrote this, man, and this was fantastic. All right, I understand the reason for the previous issue, but the previous issue was almost like a warning: don't keep on reading because it's going to be boring. But this issue was like, oh, sucker. Because this guy good, man. Just really quick, Diana Ega on inks and Adriano Lucas on colors. Sal Cipriano on letters. This was good. So Batman keeps on talking to Black Lightning because he's a principal or a school teacher, depending on which version of the universe you're talking about. Usually he's a principal, like he is here. And maybe it was only New 52 where he taught, only taught. Regardless, he's good with kids. You know what I'm saying? And Batman's trying to recruit him. And I'm just thinking, okay, this is clearly going to be a Batman and the Outsiders story. They're trying to, do this story here. Well, not necessarily so. Not necessarily so, especially since in Dark Knight's Metal, they referred back to when he was on the team and they had the whole Outsiders team and whatnot, when Katana was first introduced and everything like that. This was just a little bit different. What actually happens here is Batman is saying, listen, I can't keep these guys around anymore. You need to take charge of all these guys. Cassandra's going to give you this nonsense. What's her name? Barbara Gordon's going to give you that nonsense. Here's how you handle her. The Signal is going to give you some nonsense. Here's how you handle him. And he's just talking about it. He's like, I need you to take over the Bat family. He's like, why? Like, oh, by the way, Bruce's identity is revealed to Jefferson because he almost gets killed. Batman almost gets killed. So he, for crying out loud, Black Lightning realizes that Bruce Wayne is actually Batman. Anyway, so he's just like, dude, why? Why do you want me to do this? And Batman says, because they're making me weak. Wow. Okay, so guess what that means? Like, the only way I can really look at this is going to go one of two ways, and maybe, multiple other ways, whatever. This is my immediate take on this. Either this is going to be a big, not necessarily a farce, but this is going to be like a switcheroo, where it's like, oh, they make me weak, but then suddenly he realizes how they actually make him strong, and then the comic will just continue as it's been, and I think it might actually be a little bit boring. I'm almost of the opinion, and I am leaning a lot more towards the opinion that what I'd rather see is Batman not necessarily dominate Detective Comics. Look, man, you got all these other characters. I mean, Signal had a 3-issue limited series. It wasn't bad. It wasn't great, but it wasn't bad. It could have been better. I would like to see it better. Excuse me, you got all these characters that don't have their own series. Batwoman, forget about her. She's got her own series. Let her do her own thing. Batgirl, let her appear once in a while, but like, for crying out loud, she doesn't need to always be there. She could be. She's got her own series, but for the most part, she could just be, joining in once in a while just to challenge, what's his face, Jefferson. You know what I'm saying? But when push comes to shove, man, I would love to see a series, detective series, where Batman is in it not quite as much, and rather it's Black Lightning taking care of these kids. I would really like to see that, minimize Batman's role. He's got his own comic book too. And then just boom, keep going with that. Red Hood's got his, Tim Drake doesn't, all these characters don't. Spoiler, she doesn't. All these characters don't. So just, that could be a good thing. And it's something that's been explored for a while now, at the very least since the death of the family storyline, that, hey man, the Robins make you weak, and now your family just keeps getting bigger. They're not even just Robins anymore. So I would be totally okay with that. Either way, this just got interesting, where he starts to finally seriously acknowledge it. I'm very interested in where this is going to go. Anyway, that's it for me, guys. Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.